Hello, hi you guys. We're back again for episode 16 of the Scottish Running Podcast. Myself, Pete Tucker, and Sean Gaffney is with me this time. So what we're going to do, slightly different format this week. We are going to do a little bit of chat from Sean and I about some recent races. And obviously we're going to be previewing the main event of this weekend, the Piste de Resistance of ultra running on Sunday, which is the Anglo Celtic Plate 100k, also open race, as well as the 50k event at the North Finch Park in Perth, as I know all too well from a couple of years ago. So we'll do a quick preview on that. And Sean's just going to jump in and tell you we've got a different guest this week. So Sean, what else have we got coming up today?
So I thought we would go for something a bit different in terms of a guest, but com in- still completely running related. So he's my personal trainer. His name is Mark Trogilgis. He very keen runner when he was younger, and he's recently got back into running. But for the last 17 years, he's been PTing and helping a lot of athletes, ranging from people just wanting to lose weight, right up to runners and bodybuilders. So we've got Mark, or Tregs, as his nickname is. He's coming on to chat to us about the high importance of strength and conditioning for runners and why runners should be doing this kind of stuff at least, twice a week, if not three times a week, to help with your core, helping strengthen up the legs and just
Great.
in general looking sexy.
Brilliant, and he loves a UK office quote, David Brent style, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
that's something a little bit different, right? Okay, thanks, Sean. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of plough through fairly quickly, to be honest, with a race that was last Sunday, which was the hold on, let me just get that, or was it on the Saturday? Hold on, 16th. What was the 16th?
Was it
Was that
Saturday?
Saturday, Sean? Yeah, it was last
Yep.
Saturday. Apologies. So yeah, last Saturday was the British Masters Cross Country Championships. I think that took place over in sunny Wales. So I'm just going to rattle through a few events because there's one or two names that we know that are friends of the show, if you like, or people that I know anyway, and that Sean knows. So yeah, just quickly then. So we had the women's Vet 35 race. I'm just going to cover through the top three athletes from age categories 35 to 60. So we had Hannah Jarvis first, woman 35, followed by Faye Sharpley, who was second in the 35 race, and Lucy Short, who was third. Onto the 40s, Juliet Potter took the win in the women's 40 race, followed by Rebecca Luxton in second, Jessica Franklin in third. And onto the women 45, we had Jessie Sanzo first, followed by Joanne Henderson and Claire Martin in third. Onto the women 50, we had Rachel Coop, followed by Samantha Parkinson and Nicola Ship. I'll be honest, these are not a lot of names that I'm that familiar with, but hopefully there might be one or two that know them, and maybe they'll appreciate the shout out. Onto the women's 55 category, we had Lucy Elliott for the win, followed by Kate Ramsey and Debbie Matchett in third. And then finally, on the women's side of things, in the Vet 60, we had Monica Williamson for the win, Caroline Wood for second, and Sarah Gill in third. In fact, I'm just looking here. Caroline Wood in second was running for Scottish veteran, Scottish. No, she wasn't. I tell a lie. She was running for Southern Counties veteran AC. I was just trying to see if there were any Scottish athletes there, but I may have missed a few there. Right, but we'll go on to the men. I'm a little bit more up to date with these gentlemen. So for the men's M35, we had Lee Grattan, which is a name that I know, very good runner. He won the M35. I think he was actually fourth overall. So there must have been some other age categories that were faster than him. So Lee Grattan took the win in the 35. Ben Robinson in second, and Jonathan Reed in third. Onto the the Vet 40s. So we had Andrew Grenfell taking the win, who was actually seventh overall, but won his age category. Second was Jeff Cunningham, and third was Lee Marshall. So on to the 45. Now, this is a name that most of us listening to this will know. Grant Bailey from East Kilbride, who was running for Scottish Veteran Harriers Club. He got the win in the M45. He was second overall in the race. So I'm looking to see if I've got who was first overall. But they weren't in those categories. So Grant Bailey for the win in the 45. Mike Berrett was second, and fourth overall. And then third place was another name that a lot of us will know, Dave Norman, very good international runner, former winner of the Manchester Marathon, England, and probably GB international as well, I would say. He was third in the M45 race and sixth overall. Onto the Vet 50s race, a guy that I know, Hugh Evans, Welsh guy, used to run for Tunbridge Athletics Club. He got the win in the Vet 50, followed by Jeff Prest in second and Justin Carter in third. Onto the 55, great run here as he was fifth overall in all the age categories, but he took the win in the 55, a chap called Paul Ward. And then second, again, a guy that a lot of us will know up here. He's based in Scotland, although runs for Northern Ireland. Stevie Cairns from HBT. He was second, M55, 11th overall in the race. So pretty decent running there. And I'll be seeing him on Sunday at the ACP race as well. He's going to be in the food tent, helping out, etc., and probably just getting a free meal. You know what he's like. Third place was Francois Rafferty in the M55. And just to finish off then, in the men's 60s race, we had Mike Wyatt took the win, followed by Peter Knight and Ethan Lloyd in third. So that's that for the British Masters. So yeah, really, Sean, we're obviously both excited to talk a little bit about the ACP race. We've also got a little bit of inside knowledge. Obviously, I was privileged to run for Scotland last year in Craigavon in Northern Ireland, and obviously made my debut the previous year at this event, the very home of ultra running in Scotland at North Finch Park. I did that race in 2022. Some fond memories, but also some tough times as well, especially towards the end. There are photos, so I'll just go through. Yeah, really excited. It's going to be a belter, as they say. There's some fast guys running. There's going to be some fast times. Scotland have got a strong team. England have got a strong team, as well as the other home nations. So the Scotland team, we've got Dougie Selman, who obviously ran last year and is in great shape. You know, I'll come on to that in a second. You've also got Chris Richardson, Big Rico, good lad, Liverpool fan as well, running for Metro Aberdeen and for Scotland. He's a former winner of the ACP race. I think he won it in 2021, I believe. Was that right? Yeah, 2021, I believe he won it. So yeah, he's in good form as well. I've had a little chat with him as well. And then we've got Nicky Johnston, who's AKA Elvis, who I believe actually owns the Guinness World Record for the fastest marathon dressed as Elvis. Hence why he's known as Nicky Johnston, aka Elvis, on Strava. But we'll come on to him. And then there's another guy who I don't know too much about, a little bit of research done, Stuart Patterson. I think he's Falkirk based, runs for Ockhill. So that's the men. And then in the women's team, we've got Amanda Woodrow, Edinburgh AC. Unfortunately, she's had to withdraw due to injury. She's been struggling since the Valencia Marathon. I know she met up with Sean, our very own Sean Gaffney, Mr. Craig Ruddy, and a few guys out in Valencia, but she's had to withdraw, unfortunately. You've got Sheena Logan running for Fife AC. Jacqueline Wilson, I think she's unattached. And then you've got Catherine Cowie, who I was privileged to be in the team with last year from Portobello. She's running as well. So, yeah, let's just quick run through that. So Dougie Selman obviously runs for Costorphine. A lot of people will know Dougie. Great runner. His wife's not a bad runner either. So he was Scotland's leading finisher in fifth overall last year in Northern Ireland. That was his debut at the distance, and he recently ran 2:20 and 27 seconds at Valencia in December, narrowly missing out on a sub 2:20, but he's in shape. And I'm just going to, again, rattle off some info here to give you an idea of the sort of miles he's been putting in from the 1st of January. Weekly mileage, 116, 124, 126, 125, 126, 128, 133, 101, 129, 129, and last week 95 miles. So there we go. He's been putting in the work, and he's in good form. So yeah, and that's miles, by the way, not kilometers. Spoken to Dougie as well. Let me just see if I've got that here. Hang on, bear with me. In fact, we'll come on to that. I don't want to get myself in a muddle here. Well, we're moving on. Chris Richardson, Metro Aberdeen runner, running for Scotland, 100k champion in 2021. It's his 4th time running for Scotland. And yeah, again, I'm going to rattle off some mileage from the beginning of January. 76, 98, 110, 112, 111, 117, 95, 115, 113, 101, and 78 miles last week. So, you know, they're on for some good times. Let's have a look what we've got here. So Chris has said to me that his training's gone well. some of his faster sessions not quite hitting the splits from a couple of years ago, but he said he's in good shape. He's been sort of solid with decent mileage, and yeah, he's got a strategy in place. He'll be hoping to run low 640s, which will be a PB. That'll be amazing. I think the first two under 6 hours 38 are auto selected for GB, so there's a real target there. And obviously, I think he's gonna go for sort of low 640s, get to the busiest end of the race, and if it's there, he'll push on. And he's really consistent, great runner. So I'm excited to see how he gets on.
So just to interrupt, so see if you get 640, that is 2 sub-3 marathons back to back.
Well, 640 is 4 minute a kilometre pace, bang on, I believe. Yeah. So, which is it's
sub
fast
250,
anyway.
Sub 250 back to back. That's good.
Yeah, I'll struggle to don't put me on the spot with mathematics while we're on the podcast. I'd need to work that out. But yeah, it's thereabouts. Just going back to Doogie, what was he saying? Let's have a look. So yeah, his training has gone pretty well, as much as he could have hoped for. He's hoping to build on last year's run. And yeah, he just says he's in good shape. He's been little bit more sort of coy on time and stuff, but yeah, he's all set. He's ready to go, and he's hoping that I'm going to return his hat, which I've had for a year from last year's race. And he's very yeah, he's hoping that there's going to be a lot of vocal support for him out on the coach from me and our dear friend Mr. Craig Shield. So that's that. So yeah, and the next guy running for Scotland, we've got Henry Hart, who runs for Belgrave. This is his first Scotland vest. Just to rattle through here, he got victory in Strasimeno 58k event in March, 2:23:31 marathon PB. It's not bad. It's pretty quick. And that was at Frankfurt in October, and he also is a previous winner of the Thames Path Challenge 100k. Nicky Johnston, Elvis, originally from Moray. He's been living in Berlin for several years. He set a new Scottish 50k record last February, running 2:56:21. So he's going well. And as I said, in Berlin, I'm trying to see what year that was. I think it might have been around 2019. I might be wrong there. But yeah, he ran 2:37. Sorry, 2018 it was 2:37:04. Just as Elvis for the world record there, unless that's been beaten since. And that was the same day Kipchoge ran 2:01:39. So a couple of record breakers there. Stuart Patterson, Ockhill Roadrunners. He had a good 2023 marathon PB 2:28 at Manchester in April, and then wins in the Cairngorms Ultra in June, Ockhill Ultra 50 in September, Glen Ogle 33 in November. We just missed the course record. As we said, unfortunately, Amanda Woodrow's had to withdraw. Catherine Cowie is running; she's in good form. Spoken to her as well, and yeah, but she's got a plan in place, but she's again quite coy on exactly what that is. But wishing her the best of luck. 2 new Scotland vests. Sheena Logan, 5AC. She's got a marathon PB 2:54. She's done a lot of Ironman triathlons. She was first woman at the Glen Ogle, just gone there in November. And then Jacqueline Wilson, who is a friend of Joe Murphy, I believe, who's obviously a great ultra runner herself. So they do a bit of running together. She's got podium finishes in the last 2 years on the trails at the Highland Fling and the Devil of the Highlands. With a full West Highland Way completed and a recent marathon PB of 3:11 in York. So looking good there. Again, because we're going to be a bit pushed for time, I'll rattle through the Wales team. You've got Gareth Pritchard running for Vegan Runners, Henry Drake, Samuel Richards and Ewan Griffiths. The women, Wales have just got the sole representative, Jen Coleman. Ireland have got Tricia McLaughlin, Anne Jennings, Christine Kinsella, Lorraine McMahon, and I can't do the pronunciation, might be right, but Alfie, I can't pronounce the surname.
Aoife, is it AOI?
That's the one, AOIF. Aoife Halloween. There we go. We'll go with that. Apologies for the mispronunciation. On to the men. Kieran McGonigal, Wayne Waldron, Barry McCarroll and Lewis Coyne. England, Sarah Webster. Obviously, she was amazing in the recent ACB race. So excited to see how she gets on. I think that was last year. She won the women's race, I believe. You've got Melissa Gibson, Julia Davis, Samantha Hudson dos Santos Figueira from Belgrave, Nia Mend. So she's known as Samantha Mend, but recently got married. So she's running. And the men's team for England, you've got Michael Young from West Cheshire. He's a good marathon runner. I think he's won the Cheshire Marathon in the past. And some other races. Yeah, excited to see how he gets on. Alex Milne, and then James Turner from Lewis Stroke Brighton. I think he's making his England debut, but he's in good form as well. I think he's got let's have a look here. James, where are we? 2 seconds. No, I haven't got it here, but I'm sure he's run a 2:19 marathon, if I've got that correct. But we'll see how he gets on as well. And then obviously Ollie Garrard, we all know about Ollie. He's a prolific racer and distance runner, also now running for Belgrave. Unfortunately, shame about that. And no doubt we'll see a few. What's that?
He loves a park run.
Yeah, we'll see a few Ollie Garrard aeroplanes at the weekend. So yeah, we go. And he is actually a 40-mile world record holder. He did that at the Barry 40. I think that was last year. So interesting to see how he goes. Yeah, so I think that's the gist of it there. I'm just going through. Sorry, James Turner. He's also come 15th place in Comrades. I've got here. Let's have a look. Some really impressive. And Ollie Garrard as well. I should say he did a 2:51 50k. Went up to third on the UK all-time list. And as I mentioned, he's got that 40-mile world record in 3 hours 45, which just was eclipsing Don Ritchie's record. So there we go. Northern Ireland team. You've got Dave Andrews, who we know, I believe he's Metro Aberdeen. Good guy, good runner. Tim Brownlee, Angus Irving, Mark Walker, Fabian Devlin. Women's team, Carla Borland, Jenny Elliott York, Lou McLaughlin, Karen Whitten, Catherine Harkness. And I think that is the gist of it from the ACP side of things. A couple of other mentions. Obviously, club member from Inverclyde AC, one of our own, or Tamba, David Tamburini. He's doing the 50k. So excited to see how he gets on.
Tamba's also the winner of the Scottish Running Podcast T-shirt as well. That's
right. Yeah, he is, for correctly guessing that. We were speaking to Dr. Phil Sessamon the other week. And then I should mention we've got Mark Bromwich, a local guy who I train with. Good guy. I've been giving him a little bit of advice, so good luck to him. Let's see how that goes. But he's been doing the training. He's in good shape. Hasn't gone quite to plan, but he's got some good runs in, and I think he'll go well. I'm expecting him to be I think sub 740 is his main target. But I think he'll be going close to going under 7.5 hours, so that'll be good. And then we've got my neighbour, local guy as well, full of ultra runners around here in Bishopton, Martin Gray, also doing the 50k. So I'd be excited to see how he gets on. I should say there is a live tracking available. There is a link to it on one of our Instagram stories on the Scottish Running Podcast. So check that out. We'll be posting it again. But you can find that even just searching Anglo Celtic Plate on Facebook. There is a Facebook group, and there's loads of useful information on there, mainly posted from the likes of Adrian Stott, who is the Scottish team manager, along with Debbie Martin-Cassani. So it'd be good to catch up with those guys again at the weekend. But yeah, live tracker available. We'll be doing a little bit of live streaming as well. There'll be a few videos that are going out, and hopefully a couple of post-race interviews. So 7 a.m. I believe is the start time on Sunday at Perth for the 100k, and then the 50k will kick off a little bit later, maybe around 10 a.m. I think. So that's pretty much it. I think I've probably missed out quite a lot of information there, but I'm sure you've all had enough of me wittering on for now. So yeah, back over to you, Sean. You were going to talk about a few other recent race results and notable races.
Yeah, just before we go into that, one of our Instagram fans, Dave Shaw from the Instagram Run Raw, he'll be running at the weekend at the ACP as well. So a big shout out to him, and hope he has a good run as well. And one thing I just want to know from you, Pete, I don't care about Ollie Garrard, okay? Like, he's from England, who cares? What I want to know is from you, how much of a gap is Dougie Selman going to win it by?
Oh, that is a good question. Listen, Dougie's in top form, and he's a top guy. It's do you know what? It's really I can't. It's impossible to call 100k, but Dougie will be right up there. It's a shame that Matt Dickinson, who won the race in Perth 2 years ago, running for England. Shame he's not going to be there, because Dougie for me is one of the standout favourites. obviously he's limited experience at the 100k. He only made his debut at that distance last year. But as I said, Chris Richardson is one to really look out for. He's just got that pedigree. He's experienced and he always performs solidly. Like he never has a bad run. I'm hoping I'm not going to jinx him, but no, he's in good shape. It's a shame it doesn't seem right in the Scotland 100k team without Jason Kelly. So I hope Jason's well. Not heard from him for a while. I know he had some injuries, and then he's also had a transition now living down in London in the big smoke. So I hope he's not seen the big dizzy lights and got distracted from his running. No, but he's working for a running shop or running company down there, and I think he's doing quite well. I'm sure he's enjoying life. So hope he's training. It'd be good to see him again next year. I'm sure he'll be back soon. And obviously, I myself would like to try and get back in the mix because that was a really enjoyable experience last year. But yeah, so. I can't call it, mate. Doogie, and then you've got, like you say, Ollie Garrard is a real standout there as well. But it's actually one other guy. I don't think I mentioned him. I mentioned. So sorry, Sean. Thanks. Just to mention there, James Turner is the guy from Lewis, Brighton, who is running, making his debut. But then you've also got a chap with the same surname, no relation, Joe Turner. I have got him just here. Yeah, it's important to mention. So he's in the open race. He was snubbed last year by England, and he was quite vocal about it on his Strava. Okay, and maybe rightly so. Like he had a great run at last year's Anglo Celtic Plate in Craigavon, Northern Ireland. He was actually second overall last year in 6 hours and 41 minutes, which is quick. So I don't know if he's even put his name in the hat for England this year, but I'm guessing maybe he has, because after that performance, I don't see how they wouldn't pick him. I don't see how. Yeah, as I said, maybe he's not put his name in the hat, but he'll be running. And again, because I think he's still got a bit of a point to prove. So second in last year's winner was Jarlath McKenna in 6:37. I think he was either running for Ireland or Northern Ireland, not quite sure, but he doesn't seem to be running this year that I'm aware of. But Joe Turner, second in last year's race. So, yeah, he's going to be right up there. He was in 6:41, and Doogie Solman was in fifth in last year's race in 6:47. So, and he was ahead of Ollie as well last year. And Chris Richardson was just behind Ollie by less than 20 seconds. So, yeah, there we go. We shall see. It's exciting.
Be good. Looking forward to the videos and the interviews you get during it and after it as well.
Good stuff.
So a lot has happened in Scotland in terms of the running world in Scotland in the last few weeks. So one thing I just want to mention first of all, because he's my wee pal and he runs for Inverclyde and I've known him for a long time. Mr. John Bell, he went up and did the Inverness half marathon and he became Scottish half marathon champion in a big PB of 65 minutes. So congratulations to John. It's a statement to all the hard work. It's John. It has been, and he trains by himself as well. Again, we mentioned Tamba. Tamba's out on the bike with him for every session, and it's really as impressive how John's got to that level without training with a group, etc., just through determination, consistency, and hard work. So well done to John on the Inverness half marathon. And the other main thing I want to talk about is Megan Keith raced on a bike. Megan Keith.
Hold on, Sean. Sorry, did you say Inverness there? Was it not Alloa? Have I got that wrong? Was it Inverness?
No, it was Inverness.
Okay.
Inverness. Inverness hosted the championships. But anyways, Megan Keith, wow. She ran in California a 10,000 meter race and she ran it in 30:36, which is an Olympic qualifier. And the scary thing is it was her debut at a distance on the track. So that is amazing. So not unless she gets pipped by another couple of athletes in Britain who are going to run 30:36, but that is an absolutely astonishing time. And then she looks to be coming into form in an Olympic year. So could we see Megan Keith at Olympics? We could well be. But that is an absolutely well done to Megan. That's
an amazing time, yeah.
Doing Scotland proud. And it's really good to know. We all thought we just had Eilish McColgan for the 10,000. Now we've got another Scottish athlete there. So it's incredible to see. Like when I was looking through the results, this guy, he's not running world class times, but a guy from not last week, Costorphine, a guy called James Dunn. He ran 2 races within 6 days. He ran the last week 10 miler and he won that in 53 minutes. And then 6 days later, he ran the King's Buildings 5 mile road race in Edinburgh, and he won that in a time of 25:49. So just a wee shout out to him, it's a good wee bit of form. He's always been working hard over the winter, and a wee bit of forms came to him. And so well done to James. That's some, and it's not often can't remember the last time I won a race, but to win, 2 races within 6 days, that's a great week for James. So well done to
Yep.
James. Onto the Jack Crawford 10K as well. That was won in the male race was won by James Wilkes. That was won in like 33 minutes, and the female race was won by Fiona Matheson in 39 minutes. And then we had the Alloa Half Marathon. The Alloa Half Marathon on our WhatsApp chat with the Inverclyde AC guys. Graham Hyatt had a very vocal criticism of the Alloa half, said it's the worst half marathon ever. It's the hilliest course, etc. It's not good for fast times, but it seems to be a well attended half anyway. But that was won by Cameron Milne from Central, and the
Yep.
women's race was won by Katrin Kelly as well. Katrin ran 1 hour 20, and Cameron was 67 minutes. So not bad times, considering the course is very, very hilly. So yeah, and then tomorrow we've got the six stage. So for those who don't know what the six stage is, the road relay in Scotland. First leg 5K, second leg 10K, vice versa for 6 legs. So Central won it last year. Don't know what kind of strength of teams are going through tomorrow up in Livingston, but it should be a really good day. The weather's looking bright, but quite windy. But I've not ran this race in a while. I'll be up there tomorrow. I'll be on the first leg because I'm the club captain, so I can do whatever leg I want to do. So looking forward to that tomorrow, and I'll try and get some videos and try and get some results back pronto as well. So that's pretty much it for our ACP preview and
Let
our
me just come in there quickly, Sean. Sorry, mate. Just while you were talking, I just realised made a slight error. Obviously, I did cover the England team, which was correct. I think when I was talking about James Turner, I said about comrades. I got that wrong. That was one of the other guys running for England. Who again, I had seen this before, but trying to read back whilst live is putting a bit of pressure on me. A bit of pressure. So I'll just come back to that. But no, sorry, James Turner. With James, he set a course record at the South Downs Way 50K, and he was the chap that ran, as I said, 2:19 in December. But where I got a little bit confused, so again, one of the real, I'm going to have to tip him as one of the favourites. I believe he's debuted at the distance, but I do know the name, never met him myself. Alex Milne, running he runs for Hercules Wimbledon, sorry, and he's making his England debut. And he was selected basically after moving to second on the UK all-time rankings for 50K, which was at the Goodwood Running Grand Prix. That was in December. He ran 2 hours 51 and 25 at Goodwood. So that's quick, obviously quicker than Ollie Garrard that I'd mentioned there, who's also up there on that all-time list over 50K. And then, yeah, impressively, as I said, Alex has also ran 2:16:30, a 2:16 marathon runner. So when you've got guys that are that quick, to be honest, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he might be the quickest marathon runner going in the ACP. I'll be surprised if anyone's ran quicker than that. So yeah, we've got Alex Milne 2:16:30, and again, not many years ago, not myself, quite recent, as I said, that was in London. Last year, London last year, 18th overall in the elite men's field, and he was the chap that has also placed 15th at the Comrades Marathon. So that's a name we need to look out for. So again, hard to call. Anything can happen over 100K. And having said that, although he's run well up to 50K, 100K is a different ball game. But I think he knows what he's doing. It looks like I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, so there you go. Alex Milne, Ollie Garrard, Dougie Selman, Chris Richardson. There's some guys there, and as I said, Joseph Turner in the open race as well. Yeah, if one of them doesn't win it, I'll be surprised. But then again, I've probably missed out some other names that I've rattled off there. I've maybe done a bit of injustice, but there you go. Maybe one of them will prove me wrong. So that's it for me. Yeah. So can't wait for Sunday.
Nice, that'll be good. Then hopefully you get plenty of people willing to do interviews and stuff with you as well.
There you go.
for the ACP on Sunday. So
Depends what t-shirt I wear. Maybe I've got a few different ones. We'll see.
no, you're representing the running podcast, the Scottish one, so it's full Scotland.
And on that note, we'll be getting the Scottish Running Podcast t-shirts very soon, won't we, Sean?
Yes, we will be. We will be. We'll
Cool.
see how they look first.
Good stuff. Okay, mate.
So,
Brilliant.
So myself and Pete spoke to Mr. Mark Tregelgis
Yep.
during the week there, and Mark spoke to us about all things strength and conditioning and how it's so important for runners. And this is what Mark had to say. So,
Shoot.
hello and welcome to another little edition of the Scottish Running Podcast with myself, Pete. Myself, I can't even call myself Pete Tucker. Myself, Sean Gaffney, Mr. Peter Tucker. And today we've got on Mr. Mark Tregelgis. So Mark is on to talk to us about the benefits of strength and conditioning for all of us runners out there. And I know there's a lot of people out there who neglect it. I met Mark. It was actually online, not through Tinder or that at all. I've got a girlfriend. So,
Grinder.
yeah. And Mark's a PT. I was always never ever did gym work. It was only in the last year or so I started doing regular strength and conditioning. My hamstrings were always tight all the time. Numerous people told me I had a weak bum, and my glutes were just terrible. And then I decided to get a PT, and Mark really helped me. And my bum is very, very strong now. Hamstring is gone, but it's really opened up my world as to all these little things that runners should be doing on a regular basis. And Mark is going to chat us through that today. So, but first of all, Mark, how are you?
I'm absolutely magnificent. Thank you for asking, Sean. And I really appreciate you guys having me on. I love doing these sorts of things, talking about health, fitness. And so, and also as well, I'm not like a runner up to your standard, but long distance running has always been a sort of passion of mine since the age of 11. I'm 45 now, and probably right now I'm enjoying it more than ever. So this is really apt that you've got me on. So I appreciate it.
All right. I've seen you on your Strava. You've been doing a couple of 20 milers recently as well.
Yeah, guilty. Yeah, guilty as charged. Just it's quite a weird one. I just a little bit more time to myself on a weekend sometimes, and you know yourself, buddy, right? You just get out there, and some days you just push it a little bit further, and then you're like, oh, that actually wasn't too bad, and then you go again, and it's like we have this. I think sometimes we have this kind of barrier in our head of how far is a long race, you know. And then I remember when I was always doing half marathons, but then I started to train for a full marathon, which never happened. It was Manchester, but COVID struck. But I had just started my taper and I built up to 35 kilometers. And before I started training for a full, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna run that far. But you do, you just keep going out and just keep going that little bit further. And then all of a sudden a 10K becomes a short run, 15K the same, and then it just goes from there, right?
Exactly. Consistency and volume, marathon training. Pete, he can tell you about the time where he pretty much had a stroke in the last 10K of 100K. So,
really? Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
We'll come on to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so strength and condition. So I know it's helped me a good bit over last year. All my niggles, touch wood, seem to have disappeared. But so give us an insight into strength and condition for runners, Mark. What should all runners be doing?
Well, it's an interesting one. I just want to give you a little bit of a backstory, because what led me to becoming a personal trainer is I was a frustrated runner. I was actually really good at long distance as a kid, did a lot of cross country in my teens. And then obviously when I went to university and discovered women, beer and pizza, kind of stopped sort of competing. But I always kind of relied on running as a kind of a weight loss vehicle and stuff like that. And what would happen is over the years, I didn't really understand nutrition. So my weight would go up and down, but I was always picking up niggles running, always getting a hammy, always getting a calf strain. Literally was so frustrating. And I remember a period in my life where I just thought that running was the be all and end all, right? It was there was no other form of exercise. And I would go out knowing I had a tight hammy or a tight calf, knowing that there's 50% likeliness I'm going to pull it, but I had to do it anyway. It was just insanity. And so what this did is it led me years of frustration. I ended up an overweight, long distance runner full of injuries. So I was I need to fix myself, right? So I had always been into, the running, and I just had this eureka moment one day, and I signed up, to do a personal training course. And I remember the practical elements of that, which blew my mind. And what was really interesting, and I'll get onto why it's so important, is even though like I was struggling with my running and getting injured, and it wasn't getting me the results I wanted, it was like I didn't want to kiss goodbye to it. It was like I felt like I need to sweat to get a good workout. But when we did the level 3 advanced personal training course, they taught us the benefits of strength and conditioning, and this almost like a circuit style modality of training, right? So like you might be doing like 1 minute you're doing like a push up, then you're on your feet and you're doing squats, then you might be doing like a TRX row, and then you're doing reverse lunges. And all of a sudden, because I was working all these muscle groups in rhythm without any rest, I was getting hot and sweaty, and I was thinking, oh, I could buy into something like this, because this kind of replicates the running. Now, what I found is I'd never done things like squats. I'd never done things like lunges, like consistently. But where I fell in love with this process and started to do them as I became a PT, and then I'm demonstrating them all day, all of a sudden I was like, hang on a second, my running's improving it. Hang on a second, I'm not getting any hamstring trouble. Hang on a second, I'm not getting any calf strains. And so it led me down this kind of road of like really putting that into my own training. Then I discovered kettlebells, which are designed to work the posterior chain. And what I basically realized, guys, was I was doing all this running, but I wasn't actually training the bloody things that are meant to carry me all this way.
Guilty.
Yeah, guilt. And we're all, and I see this so much in runners, because then as I started to position myself as a personal trainer, and I was doing a lot of Google AdWords at the time saying I help runners, I get a lot of runners come to me right in the beginning. They'd be like, right, want to improve my half marathon time. They thought they were getting a running partner. In fact, in the early days, they probably did, because I was so keen. I was like, yeah, let's do an interval run. And we got out with them. But I said to them, look, we're going to do things like squats. We're going to do things like lunges. We're going to do some core stability stuff. And they'd be like, oh, no. I need to improve my running. I was like, okay, right. Let's just do a little test. Okay. I want you to do a set of body weight squats. And they like couldn't even like break parallel, or as they went to squat, their knees would collapse inwards. And I was like, right, let's try some lunges. They couldn't lunge. And I'm like, okay, so you want those legs to carry you 13 miles, 26 miles. We need to, do stuff which are going to help that. And there's this misconception with runners, and I had it. Weight training is going to get me big and bulky. Weight training is going to get me big and bulky. No. It's not going to get you big and bulky. It's going to condition you for this repetitive strain over and over again. So it's an absolute must, but it's also something that runners are just like, oh, no. So I understand the barriers to wanting to do stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I've been neglecting for years, and Pete is still neglecting it. Still trying to convince me to come to the gym with me on a regular basis, but he's still not doing it. But before we get into the actual exercises what we're going to be doing, so Pete likes to do something with everyone who we get on. He likes to do like 10 questions just about yourself. So you've given us a wee bit of a background on yourself, and now he's going to ask like 10 questions about you. So 10 questions about Mark Tregelgis, favourite, the office.
All right, don't spoil it.
Right, yeah.
It's my turn now. Right, Mark Tregelgis says, I live and breathe. How are you, babes?
I'm bloody magnificent. So if I was to describe myself, I'd probably say trainer first, entertainer second, friend third. So
right, well, we should just clarify here. Mark Tregelgis, Gaffney and I, all big, massive fans of the UK office, not the American one. They're little slugs. But yeah, UK office, David Brent. Yeah, love it. So there will be a few Brentisms coming in. I just wanted to say, great listening to you about the fitness stuff, but GVA to the ears, a bit boring. Tell me about yourself. Like genuinely.
Well, I mean, you can't put very attractive, can you? That's showing off. Just put attractive. So yeah, okay. So
they'll see you anyway.
Yeah. I'm 45 years old, even though I look in my 30s. We're all in our 30s here. I've been in the fitness industry now for 17 years. What got me to the fitness industry was I was a frustrated overweight runner, and I was just sort of lacking direction. I actually come from an events management background. So set my personal training business in 2007, then set up 30 Plus Men's Fitness in 2010, 2011, because I just turned 31 and I was like all of a sudden feeling great, being in the fitness industry, learning about nutrition and training. And so I wondered how many men the wrong side of 30 out there would feel like their best days are behind them. So I took 30 Plus Men's Fitness online. And I've been with 30 Plus Men's Fitness online now for over a decade, and I'm really pleased to say that I've helped hopefully tens of thousands change their life. But for me, it's I always say to my kids, it's like do something that you love, and you'll never work a day in my life. And that's basically
that's great. Yeah, no, listen, brilliant. That's good to hear. Shameless plug there, but nothing wrong with that. We just to clarify there, so anyone listening, check it out. 30plusmensfitness.com. Mark Jogalius. So yeah, if you're interested in some strength and conditioning, general advice about getting better at running, getting results, then check it out. He also does a free 5-day challenge, I believe. I mean, I'd have done 3, but 5's all right. But there you go. So on that note, just a few questions here. I'm just gonna. So as we discussed, you're not what I would say from a traditional out and out kind of running background, as in a pure runner, I think, if that's fair to say. So we'll just quick start. So just let me know if any of these are applicable, but we'll see how we go. So your best achievement, or proudest personal best.
Actually, so my proudest personal best, and it's on YouTube, 1 hour 24 in the Cardiff Half Marathon in 2010 or 11. So it was just before my 32nd birthday. And actually, I know you say I'm not an out and out runner, but that running was life. It was like I was doing a lot of running. And I do remember the course being cut short that day. Everyone was getting PBs, right? Like I got a PB by about 15 seconds. Everyone was getting PBs, and it actually came out in the press the next day that they had just rearranged the course slightly due to some scaffolding in Penarth or something. So it was about 30 meters short. But 1 hour 24.
Oh, brilliant. That's
not bad, is it?
That's proper running. And just a wee inside joke there. I'm sure that course sounds like it was Cami ratified. That sounds about right, Sean. But moving on. Right, next question. Favorite male athlete?
Does it have to be a runner or?
You choose.
Oh, favorite male athlete. Gosh, you put me on the spot then. Gosh. Can it be current, or does it present or past, or?
You go for it. Surprise us.
Eric Cantona. So I've never been asked that question, so it's like you've really put me on the spot. I'd have to
listen, when the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because the sardine will be thrown into the sea. Next question. Favorite female athlete?
Favorite female athlete? My gosh, you've really put me on the spot. I'm going to say, because I interviewed her for my podcast and she was amazing, and now I've forgotten her name. She was a former GB 400 meter. Oh, what's her name? Kelly Holmes. She was amazing.
Kelly Holmes. Oh, wow.
Yeah. She actually did a bit of a UK tour about 5-6 years ago, and she came down, took part in my boot camp, and then I interviewed her. What a lovely lady. Really, really, really lovely lady.
Yeah, Dame Kelly Holmes. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, what an athlete. So yeah, great shout. Okay, next question. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Oof. Mm-hmm. Oof. I can only name one.
Go on.
It's gonna have to be Goodfellas.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. I'll just fire through these quickly. Most interesting person you've met through running or through fitness?
Most interesting person I've met through running or fitness?
Any musical artists, or I don't know, athletes, politicians?
Gosh, that's put me right on the spot. Oh gosh. Probably Kelly Holmes. I mean,
I was going to say, you can always, Kelly Holmes.
Lovely. She's been through so much in her life. She's been through so much adversity as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And she was so nice. She was so humble when she came and did the boot camp with us. I've got pics from the day, and a lot of the girls that came along too had pics. It was an amazing, really good.
Brilliant.
So much time.
Okay. Next question is your favourite race.
Oh,
so it could be the Cardiff Half. I don't know.
No. My favourite race, I'll tell you straight away. I'm doing it this Sunday on the 24th of March. It's the Forest of Dean Half Marathon. So The reason is like that's kind of like my neck of the woods. I was born in Gloucestershire. My nan, God rest her soul, she lived in the Forest of Dean, so I spent a lot of time there. Forest of Dean's beautiful, and
Yeah,
the place is organised. It's locally organised. It's got a real kind of community feel, and the scenery is incredible, and it's trail.
brilliant.
So it's all chip-ins. It's not like one of those ones where you turn up and you're slipping everywhere. It's
Right.
trail and chipping. So I'm doing
Okay.
it this Sunday. Really looking forward to it.
Oh, well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Inverclyde AC road trip next year, Sean. Let's make that happen. Right, moving on. Number 8, favorite session. So again, can be running ideally, or a specific PT session. What's your favorite session?
So one of my favorite sessions to do when I'm running these days is a simple fartlek, and I'll tell you why. Like years ago, if I'd have gone out and tried to do a long run, and let's just say, like when you get out, and you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling this today. Like
Yeah,
the old me would have gone, oh, sack it off, and I've failed. Now, because I'm a little bit older and I'm a little bit wiser, and I know I'm still going to chalk up my steps. If I go out and I'm like, you know what? It's not quite in the tank today. I'm just going to turn this into a fartlek. So for anyone that doesn't know what fartlek is, it's a Swedish word for speed play. So I just pick a tree, I'll run to it, I'll walk, I'll run to the lamppost. And what it does, it just takes a little bit of pressure off and just breaks it up. And then other kind of favorite sessions of mine is probably do a lot of kettlebell training, because even though you wouldn't associate kettlebell training with running, they are designed to strengthen the posterior chain, which are your hamstrings and your glutes, and therefore, I program a lot of kettlebells into my stuff and also my clients that run, and it helps them.
great. All right, brilliant. Thanks for that. Moving on, nearly finished with these questions. Your favorite food?
My favorite food. Ooh, I'm pretty boring, really. I just like salmon. Get me some salmon, get me some scrambled eggs, and I'll fry up some broccoli florets in some garlic oil, and that's kind of me at the minute. That's if I'm, keeping everything dialed in. If I'm not, then like anyone else, I suppose I like a Domino's pizza.
All right, no, good, brilliant. Salmon, yeah, good source of protein, brilliant. Fit body, fit mind. So
So yeah, always thinking. So
excellent. On that note, you should, if you've not heard of him already, when you get a minute, Google him or search for him on TikTok. There are other social networks available, but search for Fish Guy. There was a guy that ate fish about 3 times a day. I don't know if you've heard of him, but check it out.
Fish and a rice cake.
That's it, fish and rice cake.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, fish and a rice cake. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Right. Next one, phobia or pet hate?
Phobia. Yes, I've got a phobia. Dry flannels. They make my mouth go over like I don't like a dry flannel for some reason. It dries out the inside of my mouth.
That's great. That's one of my favourite answers to that question.
I don't like a dry flannel. It turns me. Yeah, not a fan.
sounds like a load of old flannel, to be honest. But right, and then question. This is the final one. I should really take it out because most people don't actually play this game, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's your favourite poker hand?
I haven't got a clue, mate. Don't play it.
See, I told you. Rubbish.
No.
Oh no. Well, that was great. No, brilliant. Thanks for that. That is pretty much my question. But just before I hand back over to Sean, as I said, I used to do a bit of fitness instructing and personal training myself back in the day, many moons ago. So I'm going to ask you a random question only because so my wife's a physio, and so whenever I meet any of her colleagues and friends, I always ask this really stupid, annoying question, showing my age, because it's a kind of a bit of a dated sort of technique, I believe. So I'm not trying to catch you out here. But it's just an acronym, and me being me, I just remember certain random bits of things, and then I remember them. So, do you know what, in terms of fitness, do you know what PNF stands for?
Of course I do. Yeah.
Go on.
It's PNF stretching.
That's it.
I do it with my clients all the time. So the exact term now is something. I do it all the time with my clients. Is when you push back and
that's it. Yeah.
And the muscle spindle relaxes.
Well, I'll tell you what. As I said, only because I'll give you what. Can you remember? Have you got it on the tip of your tongue, or shall I put
no, go on. What is it?
Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have got that. But the interesting thing is I will do PNF stretching on a lot of clients that have maybe got tight hamstrings. And it is, do you know what? It's an amazing if because they actually end up thinking you're some sort of ninja. But if you know the science behind it, if you in the belly of the muscle, there's a Golgi tendon. And if you can get the muscle, if you can get the person's leg or muscle to contract against a force, i.e. your hamstring against my shoulder for a couple of seconds, then something called the muscle spindle, it relaxes, or the Golgi tendon, the muscle spindle relaxes and allows you to increase that range of motion. And like, I've had some people come to me with like seriously tight hammies, do that, and they're like, oh, like full range of motion. It is amazing.
No, in all seriousness, yeah, obviously I know it's a good technique, but as I said, it's more just because it's obviously lots of long words, and I like to use long words to try and make myself sound intelligent. Normally doesn't work, but there we go. So yeah, no, I think that's the sort of gist of it for me. Although I noticed you said earlier that you were training for a marathon, but it didn't happen. Let's have a look here. Mark Tregalius, Imre's Marathon, St Austell, Mountainous Marathon, I believe, not flat, 2019, 4 hours 26.
What's that?
According to the Power of 10, this could be wrong. I've got here Mark Tregalius, Imre's Marathon in St Austell in 2019, 4 hours 26.
That's not me. It must be another one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have to check that out then. But anyway, all right, moving on. Back over to you, Sean.
I would have told you. Yeah, I would have told you if I'd done one, but no, that's definitely not me.
Fair enough, mate.
So, good to hear a bit more about yourself, Mark. So back onto the strength and conditioning gym work for runners. So starting off from the beginning. So what exercises should runners, or what would you prescribe to a runner for strength and conditioning?
The thing is, let's just take someone coming in for the first time. Like I get a lot of runners come in for the first time, and let's say we get them over that barrier of doing some kind of lower body stuff. Basic things like body weight squats, forward lunges, which is a little bit more quad dominant, reverse lunges, a little bit more hip flexor and hamstring dominant. Again, like you said earlier, like glute bridges, right? I'll tell you a true story, right? Before I tapered for the Manchester Marathon, which didn't happen, I was in a Facebook group for the Manchester Marathon. It probably still got one now, like a support group. And everyone's like talking about how their training's going and blah, blah, blah. And I remember one guy, he was posting, he was like, I can't get past 11 miles. And I was like, speaking to him like, are you fueling correctly? He's like, oh no, yeah, fueling fine. It's just that, when I get to a certain period, like basically my glute seize up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, are you doing any glute activation? And he's like, what's that? But I was like, okay, so try this. But I know exactly where that guy was coming from because I was that guy. Like glute activation, like what's that? I'm just going out for a run, mate. But if you think about it, right, and again, like with hamstrings as well, your glutes and your hamstrings, they're your drivers. They're like big drivers, right? And you're going in like you're trying to run long distance with weak hamstrings, or maybe you're more quad dominant. You're going to get in all kinds of trouble. So what I would do initially with somebody at a very basic level is I would get them, like I said, doing body weight stuff, body weight squats, like reverse lunges, forward lunges, glute bridges. Then you might want to throw in like some light barbell stuff or dumbbell stuff like RDLs, Romanian deadlifts for the hamstrings. Remember, the hamstrings are big drivers. I'm a fan of kettlebell swings as well. But even if you start people off with just body weight stuff, you can then overload them. So, a body weight squat can turn into a dumbbell squat or a kettlebell goblet squat. It doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be heavy. And this is the thing, because runners will be like, oh, I don't want to get too strong. Well, no, we'll work in a certain repetition range then. We'll do higher reps. I'm not going to get you doing like, a 1 rep max squat, but I could get you doing 10 reps with good form, and I could then go, okay, right, let's progress that. Let's just overload you slightly. So for me, it's more about getting them to embrace different movement patterns, but also keep the volume quite high. That's really, really important. Yeah, and every runner that I've trained, this is how I'll start them off, and then I'll just progress. And then, I've got them doing walking lunges with dumbbells. I've got them doing step-ups, single leg step-ups with dumbbells. I've got them doing the glute bridges with heavier dumbbells or a barbell, etc., etc. I think the main thing is just getting runners to overcome that. Oh, right, this is why I'm doing it. Yeah, we're not doing it to make you big and bulky. We're doing it because, we want you to run this distance. And another thing as well is core training. Yeah. Remember our core stabilizers. A lot of people think, core is just abs. No, you're actually, when you know your science or your physiology, your outer sheath, like of your rectus abdominis, is involved in flexion of the spine. So think sit-ups, right? But you're only really going to see your abs with lower body fat. But deeper than that, running around the circumference of our torso is our core stabilizers. So you've got your internal, external obliques, which help the body rotate. You've got your multifidus in your lower back. and you've got your transverse abdominis. These are our core stabilizers. Imagine like your suspension, right? So you're running, boom, 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 boom. So you're going to need legs with, you know, a little bit of strength, and also you're going to need decent core for all this repetitive strain. So, you know, again, it's not uncommon for me when I'm training runners to be like, yeah, we're going to do a lot of core work today as well.
Sorry, Trex, just to jump in there quickly. That's really interesting, actually. Would you be a fan of some really kind of like basic stuff for runners, like we're talking about body weight stuff? So your kind of your press ups, your sit ups, you know, the plank, that sort of thing. Would you prescribe those sort of things?
So for me, like I know you mentioned like the strength and conditioning, we were looking at the legs. I like this modality of training that I learned on my PT course years ago was what I fell in love with, was combining one lower body exercise with an upper, with a lower, with an upper in a circuit fashion. Now, this actually, if you go and research it, is there's a term for it. It's called peripheral heart action. And apparently, old bodybuilders like use this modality when they were like cutting for a show. But if you think about it, our heart is a pump, pumps blood and oxygen around the muscles. So when we go out for a run, we're using all those muscle groups in rhythm. We're sweating, right? But actually, we can replicate that in the gym by doing 10 squats, 10 push-ups, 10 ring rows, 10 lunges in a circuit fashion. And now we're actually getting the benefits of the conditioning, but we're also, you know, we're sweating. So it's like, oh, right, okay, this is actually, we're doing weight training, which is serving a purpose to get stronger, but we're actually getting like a cardio workout. And that's, if you look at a lot of the workouts in my generic plans, it follows that suit. You'll see like, it'd be like squats, push-ups, rows, swings, reverse lunges. And I'm just we're just keeping you moving, but using multi-joint movements. Does that make sense? So I'm a massive fan of that, because remember, that's making the heart fitter. What do we want to run faster and longer? A fitter heart. So it all serves a purpose. I've had guys come to my boot camp, not done one run, all this kind of stuff, gone and done a 10K and gone, Trex, I've shaved 10K off my 10K. And that's just, I'll deal with the science. So that's, yeah, it's not why I do it. You're going to pay me? Yeah, lots. Thank you. It's not why I do it. Thank you.
Brilliant. So just one other question for me as well before Sean come back in, which should be more helpful for me actually. So if you've got someone, you know, a distance runner, let's just say they're running, I don't know, ballpark figure, 50 to sort of 90 miles a week. So they're a long distance runner, lots of running, obviously, some double days, etc. If their rough kind of week would look like something like, I know, a Monday, maybe either a long, easy run, possibly even a tempo. Generally, a lot of people, Tuesday would be a session sort of day down the track or just on the road, intervals, maybe even a morning run to build up the mileage. Wednesday might be a long run day. Some days, you know, that you wouldn't obviously do, you generally probably wouldn't do 3 sessions. When I say sessions, I mean intervals, reps, as well as a tempo run, you know, so you might substitute, mix it around a bit. But if you've got a tempo run in there, a long run, maybe a session on a Thursday, generally, for myself personally, I would tend to rest on a Friday. Saturday would be either hills or even a race, or you know, if not just maybe even something like a park run. And Sundays, generally, traditionally, most people's long run day. Obviously, that's just a rough ballpark figure. So, in amongst all of that, where would you suggest people are fitting in their sort of strength and conditioning? And obviously, you know, clearly there's some periodization throughout the winter months. Tell me a little bit about how it would vary. Now, obviously, in the build up to a race, I'm guessing you're going to ease back from that a little bit. Just a bit of info on that, really.
I mean, the thing is that sounds like you're doing a hell of a lot of mileage, right? And so you might be asking a runner to actually take one of those runs out, and so there might be a lot of resistance to that. Having said that, you know, a lot of the circuit style stuff or the stuff we could do in the gym, that's not going to be like ultra time consuming. Like a lot of that, if you've never done it, could just be done at home, and you could be done in like 20 minutes. And so it's serving as a kind of complementary to the kind of running that you're doing. Obviously, the more that you get into, like you said, progressive overload, you might then want to make the session a little bit longer. You might want to make it a little bit harder. And then you might want to be taking out a little bit of running here and there. But I think, you know, if somebody is not doing anything and they just want to throw it in, they shouldn't be daunted to throw it in, because this kind of stuff you can do at home in sort of 15, 20 minutes. It's not going to you're not going to be like, oh my God, I can't walk, etc. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, like if you're doing that amount of running per week anyway, your legs are going to, you know, your legs are used to having a bit of a caning. So, some body weight lunges and squats and some glute bridges at home isn't going to leave you in a wheelchair. Do you know what I mean? It's only just going to enhance kind of like what you're doing.
Great. Okay, thanks for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and like I was saying about the lunges and squats and deadlifts, etc. as well, and especially the core. Like you prescribe me like 3 workouts a week. In between that, I'm doing, after a run, I'm doing like the plank, 4 times a minute now, and then
Wow.
doing some sit-ups and stuff after it. That I've got the sit-up bench there. I find that's really helping as well. But weirdly, it's I kind of got the kind of mindset, I can run every day, but then see me when you do a gym session, I think it's a mentality thing as well. I would go, my legs would be done for days.
Yeah.
But some times where I'll be like, right, I'll need to go to the gym. Like I'll go to the gym on a Tuesday night, and then I'll go like, I'll need to do the next session on the Wednesday because I've not got time on the Thursday.
Mm.
And in the back of your mind, you'd be like, as a runner, because you don't do a lot of gym stuff, you'd be like, I'm going to be dying, but you're not actually. You're not
Yeah.
actually.
It's all a mindset shift. It is all a mindset shift because if all you do is running, right, that's what you're used to, isn't it? And then we have these barriers to, like I say, to, oh my God, if I do that, I'm going to feel like that. But again, it's like I'm not going to program a runner like heavy 1 rep max stuff. It's just not going to happen. It's like we're going to stick to 10 to 12 reps, maybe in some cases higher reps than that. Maybe in some cases we'll do like stuff for time, like do body weight squats for a minute. Take 30 seconds rest, do reverse lunges for a minute, take 30 seconds rest, do forward walking lunges for a minute, 30 seconds rest. But it's not like we're going, have that dumbbell or have that heavy barbell and, good luck. It's not going to serve, your goals.
Yeah, because like what you've prescribed to me now is obviously the weight bearing,
Yeah.
using the barbells, etc. Now,
Yeah.
obviously won't say what I've been doing, but for example, if just to give people an insight, as me being like I'm not a very good runner just now, but I will be better. Going by, if you give me deadlifts, squats for like a leg workout one night, and what would a workout look like that, just to give people an idea?
Oh, okay. So yeah. So if I've got somebody doing like a lower body workout and they're going into the gym, I quite like to superset. Okay, so I will do a lot of supersets, but let's say I've got somebody doing like a big compound. So like in our gym at the minute, we've got like an inverted squat. So it's a fantastic squat machine. You actually walk into it. It's a bit like a front squat. You've got the pads here. You get really nice depth, but you could do that with a barbell. I would maybe do, if I'm programming for a runner, like on a very basic level, 4 sets of 10 to 12 squats, at a weight that is challenging you on the last couple of reps. Like you don't just want to be just, that's 12, it's easy. Like it's got to, because if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you, right? So you've got to be hitting, as you get towards those last few reps. So I always say to clients, right, we're going to do between 8 and 12. If you can get to 8 and it's a piece of cake, you keep going to 12. If you can get to 12 and it's a piece of cake, it's too light, we go heavier next time. Because everyone's got a certain degree of strength. So it's about finding that sweet spot. Then we might move on to RDLs, another big compound movement. Again, 4 sets of 10 with some prescribed rest. This is quite difficult for a lot of runners that are just so used to just pelting it to actually make them rest. I remember that as well, thinking, I get clients that are so used to what I call the hot and sweaty stuff, burning 800-900 calories a session. And you're like, look, you're going to do this. You're only going to burn 300 calories, but the purpose is different. Do you see what I mean? And so it's getting them to embrace that different mindset. And then after I've done those big compounds, we might go into, forward lunges, but we could also superset with reverse lunges, or we could do some things like forward lunges with kettlebell swings. So you've got like agonist, antagonist type stuff. So front and back. It's like if I get clients to do an upper body section, I always do a push pull. So if we're doing lower body supersets, I might be like, right, let's do something quad dominant and then superset with something more posterior chain dominant and so on and so forth. And I love like finishers, like Tabata based stuff, especially for runners. One of my favorites is like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, leave nothing on the table. Body weight squats, 20 seconds, 10 seconds rest, kettlebell swings, 20 seconds, 10 seconds rest. Do that on repeat for 4 minutes. Boom, and you're done.
Yeah, and talking about that Tabata, I think one of the ones you gave me, it was after, I think you've given me German volume training recently.
Yeah,
It was 100 squats, and then it was upper body stuff after that, but then the Tabata at the end, it was it was something like it was like 30 seconds worth of like wall ball pushes, followed by like 5 press ups, and I was like, at the end of that, it was only like 10 minutes, but my God, I was dying, I was sweating so much, and
Dude, this is the thing, right? And like I was saying to Pete earlier, right? You can get a great workout from home in 10 minutes. It's like people will say, "Oh, I've got to go there, got that." Right? Like, what are the two of the most brilliant exercises? Push-ups and squats. One is an upper body exercise, one is a lower body exercise. Both, when you do them as well, is working your core because your core stabilizes. So they're under tension, when you're doing a push-up and when you're doing a squat. One of my favorite circuits is just to say to somebody, right, we're going to do Tabata, 20 on, 10 off, push-ups, squats, push-ups, squats. You're going to fail on the push-ups fast. You might be able to keep going on the squats, but most people will fail on the push-ups. But that doesn't mean they can't hold in the lockout and keep that tension. Or I might say to somebody, we're going to do an 8-minute AMRAP, as many rounds as possible. 5 push-ups, 10 squats. That looks easy on paper. You do that properly for 8 minutes, you're going to be blowing, because it's that upper lower, so it's that peripheral heart. So you've got the blood shunt, right? 5 push-ups, not a lot, but you're doing that because your squats aren't taking long. Up, down, you're blowing. A couple of minutes, you're going to be dripping. And even and the great thing is that you can just, people might say, oh, that's easy. It's not if you do it properly and with just go harder. Go harder, go deeper. Do you know what I mean? You're going to get a great workout. It doesn't matter what level you're at. 8-minute circuit, 5 push-ups, 10 squats, 5 push-ups, 10 squats, 5 push-ups, 10 squats. I've seen people who think they're fit, 3-4 minutes in, they're like, do you know what I mean?
absolutely. Because in a way as well, like when I'm doing, it's 100 reps of squats, then I'm on the bench press doing stuff, and then doing dumbbell stuff, and then yeah, and even after that, you maybe do some like the leg lunges after that as well, and that last 10 minutes of Tabata, you're actually kind of training, to replicate a race, because you've pre-exhausted the legs, and then you've
Boom.
got the sprint finish. You need to
Yeah,
activate. You need
yeah,
to get the legs activated again, and that's a good way of
yeah.
mentally getting through that pain, but also
Cool.
teaching your legs to fight when they're tired.
There's going to be times during that race where you're touching your max heart rate, right? Could be a big hill, could be that sprint finish. That's ultimately what we're trying to get you to get in a finisher. So I always say to clients, like, rate of perceived exertion. Imagine a scale 1 to 10. 1 is you're just at home on the sofa with your feet up watching Netflix. That's the level of difficulty. And 10 is you've just finished a marathon and you're like, you need a quiet sit down. Right. So when I take somebody through a session, we tend to want them to be at about 3 to 5 during the warm up. And then as we progress through the session, we're going 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we get to that finisher, and it's boom, 8 to 10, boom, balls out. Not literally, because you might get arrested for doing something like that. But that's rate of perceived exertion is a great one, because
Did you say on a scale of 1 to 10 there? So I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, what were the options again?
Yeah.
Right, back to some right. Another question for you, Tregs. Here we go. Right, what I'd be interested to know as well. We've all heard of CrossFit, but obviously, well, I wouldn't say up and coming, but it's quite sort of established now. What seems to be an in thing at the minute is high rocks. So there's a runner, a mutual friend of mine and Sean's, a guy we know, Mr. Sean Fontana, very good athlete. Sean might correct me here. I'm sure he's gone on to 30 minutes for 10,000 meters. So very, very good runner. Previously was on a scholarship out in America. So he's now, and he's like yourself, he's a fitness instructor. He's a personal trainer. That's he lives and breathes fitness. And he's now gone over to the High Rocks world and is absolutely smashing it up. So I believe so. Have you ever taken part in High Rocks yourself? And I'm assuming you've trained people that are training for High Rocks. So any advice or any tips on that at all?
So I've not done a High Rocks myself, but lots of my clients and coaches have taken part in them. They've absolutely loved them. They think they're really grueling and very rewarding, etc., etc. I would be lying if I said I know loads about it. I've seen lots of pictures online. I've seen the kind of stuff they do. But for me, it's like, I'm a fitness instructor. I'm a PT. It's like I want to encourage people to get up off the sofa and move. And if signing up to something like that is going to make you accountable, do it. I always say this, slightly off topic. Pick a form of training that you're going to enjoy. So, if you want to sign up to a High Rocks, look at what it's about. If that floats your boat, you go for it. Because I always say to clients this, right? Can you see yourself doing it in a year's time? Right? Because ultimately, don't just do something because your mate Pete's doing it or Dave's doing it. they might have completely different, goals to you. I always say, can you see yourself doing it in a year's time? So if I ask you guys now, can you see yourself running in a year's time? You're going to go, yeah, because you love it. It's like, can I see myself doing kettlebells in a year's time? Yeah, because I love it. So if you want to sign up to High Rocks, go and do it. Can you see yourself doing it again? Or is it something you're going to completely despise? Only the individual knows the answer to that. Ultimately, my goal is just to get people to embrace fitness. Get them
So
off
if I was to say strength and conditioning is an important part of any running schedule, I want you to give me an answer. Not at all, to some extent, very much so, don't know.
Very much so.
Correct, at last. Right, back over to you, Sean.
What you like, Pete? You just love an office quote, eh? So,
Guilty.
spoke about the lower body. The most important parts for running is the legs, getting them strengthened, the core. So, in the upper body, arms and upper body. So, in terms of like I know what you prescribed me, but for a person, a runner out there who's listening to this who doesn't have a clue about strength condition, what's the importance of building up the arms and building up like your shoulders for running as well, the upper body part?
I mean, it's not like you specifically going to get a runner in and go, we're going to make your arms and shoulders big, right? I train this lovely lady, Angela. She's a runner from Newport. She does loads of marathons and she comes to me once a week. So I told her exactly everything I say to you. It's like, look, Angela, you go do all your running, you do your track stuff, you do your distance. When you come to see me, we're going to focus on strength and conditioning. So I've done all the lower body stuff with her. And now when I train her, I will combine like an all-over circuit. So she might do a push, a squat, a pull, a push, a squat, a pull. Again, we're working like a circuit base. So the heart and lungs are having to work overtime. What's actually happened is she's ended up getting quite muscular. And I'm always joking on my stories when I'm training. I'm going, sorry, Angela, it's Dave from the Harriers. You're getting too muscly. We're going to have to let you go. But it's just a byproduct of her doing like an all-over weight-based routine. Does that make sense? So it's not like I'm going to get Angela like really strong arms. It's just that I've got her doing pushing and pulling as a part of a circuit combined with her lower body. Because if I see someone once a week, I want to give them the like biggest bang for their buck in that 1 hour in the gym than they can possibly get, because most people are wasting time in the gym. So if I've got a client doing an upper body session, I'll get them doing a push and then a pull, like we spoke earlier, Pete, agonist, antagonist, right? Most people are wasting time in the gym. When I see somebody once a week, and if they're a runner, we want to give their lower body a blast as well, I'll do a push, squat, pull. I love that because you're literally just jumping from one big exercise to another. Again, not going super heavy. So I've had Angela doing maybe 10 dumbbell chest press into 10 goblet squats into 10 lat pull down. And what that's done is she comes in a vest now and you can see her, she's got biceps, she's got deltoids, she looks great. But it's not like I've set out to go, we're going to give this runner big biceps, because you don't really need to be doing a load of bicep curls to be able to do that. That's just a natural movement that we can do when we run. But the byproduct is when you lift weights, and obviously most runners are putting in a lot of mileage, they're living quite a healthy lifestyle. The byproduct is you're going to look a little bit leaner as long as you get your protein right and things like that.
Yeah, and that's the next thing I want to go on to is you're always telling me when I first signed up, you need to get protein in. So in terms of at runners as well, so how important it's also important for all gym athletes for the photo game also, but how especially important is it for runners as well?
Protein is essential for recovery and muscle repair. Obviously, when we run, we just think carbohydrates, jelly and ice cream party, we got to fuel up. And that is true to an extent. But you can see you can actually gain weight training for endurance events because your fucking appetite just gets away from you. Now, if it's all carbohydrates, nothing wrong with them. They've actually got the same calories per gram as protein. The carbohydrates and protein have 4 calories per gram. It's just that one is hyperpalatable, carbohydrates, easy to overeat, and one is actually super satiating, very hard to overeat. Let me give you an example. Tell me the last time you overate cakes. Tell me the last time you overate chicken breasts. I already know the answer, right? So protein, a lot of people just think, oh, gym goers muscle. Well, okay, all that, but it's for repair. And also from a satiety point of view. If you're running, you're going to be hungrier than the mofo, right? We all know that. Some of the miles you lads are doing. So don't just think carbs, get the protein in as well, because it's going to help the muscle recovery, especially from doing all these miles. and it's going to help you from a satiety point of view as well, because how easy is it to overeat pasta? How easy is it to like finish a big run and, oh yeah, I've burnt 1,500 calories, so I specifically put that pizza in the oven, it's all back. Do you know what I mean? And you've not had any protein in that. And then, you know, I remember doing 4 half marathons across 4 weekends back in 2017 for charity. There was a half marathon every week, an event. I gained 3 kilos in that month. How can I gain 3 kilos doing 4 half marathons? Well, I'll tell you, I carb up the night before, I finish the race, I go and have a roast, I keep eating in the evening because I'm in reward mode. The next day I can't move because I'm aching. Then I'm resting as I'm going into the next event. And then it's rinse and repeat, and you gain weight. So you have to be very mindful. People just think that, oh, I'm running, I can eat anything. Well, you'd be surprised, but get your protein right, and then you're going to be able to manage that appetite a lot better.
And you know, on the subject of protein, though, for everyone who goes to the gym and whatever sport they do, you know, there's always that chat where they say, that 1 hour window, after exercise you need to get the food in. So would you, but straight at forward like a runner, would you suggest getting carbs straight in right away, or would you say no, get a protein in right away?
I think there's a little bit of a myth that's been sort of dispelled about the kind of the post-workout window. I think that we shouldn't necessarily worry if we left our protein shake or our meal replacement lie at home. We're not going to like die out. I think post-run it's important to get both in, but I wouldn't stress too much about the timing, and that just releases you from the shackles of a lot. I mean, I spoke to guys that say, oh, if I forgot my protein shake, I wouldn't go to the gym, because they genuinely thought they were going to waste their gains by not getting a protein shake in within the hour. A lot of this pseudoscience has died now. I think that as long as you're getting a decent meal in of carbs and protein, whenever it is you can. Because look, let's face it, right? I don't know about you, but if I've done a hard run, the last thing I can think about is eating. I actually like having a shower and sitting down. I like a tropical Fanta or something like that. And later on, I want to eat, but I just make sure that I'm getting good stuff in there. I'm not like going, well, I must eat because I've just ran 25K. I actually don't feel like it. It's
Yeah,
different for everyone.
yeah, because after the Valencia Marathon in December there, like, Frankfurt and London, it's they don't really give you stuff right away. But in Valencia, you got your medal, then they're just like throwing, oranges and all sorts at you and bananas, and you're like, leave me alone. Like, I just want water. Where's the water? Like, and the water was the last thing I got. Is like, but they just
Wow.
throwing all these goody things at you, and that for me, the last thing I want to do is chew. And
Mm.
even with
Have
like,
you gone off the beetroot juice now then, Gaff?
yes, the beetroot juice was stinking. However, I can see how it's beneficial, but
Mm.
I don't think it actually helped me that much. It just made my
Minimal gains, in my opinion.
minimal gains, and but massive differential color in your PP.
Exactly. Not worth it.
Not worth it at all. So we pretty much covered off everything there, apart from one last thing. I know you've got a group called the Inner Circle, which
Yep.
kind of focuses on the mindset. And
Yep.
so for yourself, so how important for you in your life and what for your clients, that how important it is in putting forth that the benefits of mindset with your
Yeah.
clients and athletes.
I think the mindset is coming more and more into play now. And I truly believe, having embraced mindfulness a lot more, that it underpins everything. Because the bottom line is this, right? You guys, you're running all the time. You're motivated to do so, right? Because it's part of who you are. You've created that identity where you are runners, right? So you've got a running podcast. So you've created this identity. Motivation will run out. Pete, Sean, you can tell me there's times where you can't be asked going out. But because you've got exactly what it is you're working to in your mind, you're part of a running community. You're on Strava looking at each other's times. You've got this podcast. It's your identity. And so it doesn't matter if it's pissing down or you're tired, because that's what you do. And so this is what the mindset kind of work does. It's like, okay, look, life's happening. There's no perfect time. Forget New Year, new me. Fucking start after Easter, all that bollocks. Decide who you want to become. And then prove it to yourself every day with small wins. This is the important thing. People just think that because they announce a goal, oh, they're going to go out and crush it. Bullshit. Not everyone achieves their goals. In fact, I read something the other day that said a lot of serial quitters or self-sabotage get enough dopamine from announcing they're going to change and the feedback they get from loved ones or people on social media that gives them enough of a hit that they therefore don't go on and change. Isn't that fascinating?
That's
right?
wild.
So the mindfulness is and the mindset underpins everything. So I always say to clients, write down your goals. What is it that you're working towards? Because then it's at the forefront of your mind. And then every day that's going to almost influence your choices. It's like right now when we finish this call, it's 9:30, right? So it would be it's easy, isn't it? Like late at night to go to the fridge and get out a chocolate bar. So that could be simple things like going, well, actually, if I just don't go to the fridge and get up to bed, that only takes a little bit of thought, and I've done it, and I wake up in the morning, and that's a win. Like if your goal is fat loss. So what mindset does is it just brings everything to the forefront, because we are actually controlled a lot by our subconscious behaviors, which is a set of beliefs and habits and systems that we've developed over time through our environment, our upbringing, the people we're around, where we just automatically do stuff. Long day at work, I need a beer. Unexpected credit card bill of post, I'm going to get some sugar. We're just in this reactive mode. If we can just stop and go, hang on, this is happening. You know, life's happening for everyone. Everyone's got stresses. Everyone's got this going on. What am I working towards? Okay, I'm a runner. Okay, so I'm going to get out and I'm going to run. And then when I come back, I fucking feel great because I know running gives me the endorphins. Just like if, you know, I'm on a weight loss goal and I know that if I go out and go for a walk, I'm going to change my state and I'm not going to sabotage tonight. But it needs to be here. So it's like we're not running on motivation. We're running on identity. This is who I am. This like I get in the sea most mornings now. It's not to impress you upon you, right? Fucking hell, some days I want to stay in bed. And I'm like, fucking hell, it's nippy. But it gives me so much from a mental perspective. It's a non-fucking negotiable. I've got to do it. Because then you get this version of me. My kids get this version of me. My clients get this version of me because of what it does to me. So I don't always fancy it, but I'm doing it because it's what I do.
Yeah, I've seen your Instagram videos where you've been, you know, filming whilst you've been in the water. I mean, me and Pete could do that in the Clyde in the summer if you want to. I've seen it. There's some of the winter mornings you went out. It just looked absolutely freezing. I was like, and it was like it wasn't like 9 in the morning. It was like 6:30, 7 in the morning, and it was
Changed my life.
But yeah, but I think even just exposing yourself and stuff like that really does help with the mindset. And
Well, there's that quote I use a lot. It's hard things, easy life. Easy things, hard life. Just to finish up, guys, because I have to go in a sec because it's my boy's bedtime. It's never been easier to be comfortable. That is, we just live in an instant gratification world. TikTok, Just Eat, YouTube, everything's just at a touch of a button. You know, we sit in and get that fake dopamine. But if we get out and we do hard things like running in the rain, getting in the sea, going to the gym, that makes the rest of your experience easier. The way I look at it is if I can get in the cold sea every morning, life can throw some shit at me in the day, but I've been in the sea in fucking 3 degrees. So, you know, if you're going to chuck an unexpected bill at me or something goes wrong with work, I've been in the sea, mate, at 7 a.m. So I can deal with this. And that's what it all comes down to. It underpins everything in my
Sean, I know you mentioned you were talking about. So I'll just finish up, Tregs. So, you know, you mentioned marathon earlier. I think you mentioned London as well. I don't know if you can see this here, Tregs. Can you see the year on that there?
I can only see.
Yeah.
2008. 2008.
Yeah. I just got it out to throw it away. So.
Yeah.
So, I know. In all seriousness, I'll just finish off. Good luck in the Forest of Dean half this weekend. Is it on Sunday?
This Sunday. Yeah.
What's the target?
I would like to go sub 141. Sub 141.
Oh, come on. 139. Surely, if you're that close.
All right, we'll give that a go. We'll give that a go. Yeah.
Make it happen. I'll be looking out to see how you get on. Best of luck, mate. It's been great chatting to you.
Oh, mate, it's really nice to meet you, Pete. Let's connect.
Let's
You've charmed me. You've charmed me. You've got the job. Work out your notice and come down to probation. It's just to see if we what's your tipple?
Lucasade. Sometimes he has different drinks for different needs. So
I've loved it, boys. It's been absolutely brilliant. I really appreciate you having me on.